What is up, Sooner Nation? Happy Saturday night. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Jay, had a great quote. Being yourself in a world where people are constantly trying to make you into something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Welcome to the Sooner Surge, the nightly 9:30 podcast that tells it like it is. We'll always tell it like it is. We'll never vert from that. We love what's going on here. We love the viewers. Thanks for joining us tonight on a 9:30 Saturday night. You got the NFL games. It's bone-chilling cold, as someone said. What's going on, Jay?
It is freezing cold. And, yeah, I mean, obviously, pretty slow news day, I think, most of the time today. But, you know, you can't help it when you see title of your podcast on another person's podcast. And that's what happened today. I see my graphic, my picture. Wasn't the best picture of me. And I thought, you know what? Sometimes I had to dress up tonight. You know why? It's like, never know when somebody's going to want you to be a YouTube star and put you on the video. So got it. Got the suit on tonight. Be ready. Maybe somebody will want us for another video, Germ. But hey, sometimes you just got to laugh at it and move on. That's what we're going to do tonight. But Hunter, how you doing tonight, Hunter?
Hunter here?
Hunter?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's
there
up,
you are,
Hunter?
Looking good,
Looking
man.
sharp, buddy.
Had to fit in tonight, so yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good, man.
There's Jim Knowles news today, I guess, if you want to call it news. There you go.
There is.
Quote today
That's
about
it.
all that. So
Hey, Hunter,
I'll leave
post the quote in the chat after you.
yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Put the quote.
Looking good,
Hunter's
man.
looking sharp, Jay. He outdid us with the tie, but
He looked a
it's
little better
okay.
with the tie.
We got to look the best for our viewers. Got to look the best for our viewers.
Yeah. So, hey, let's move on and not talk about, let's say this. We're not going to talk about another podcast for 30 minutes on our show. We're going to talk Sooner sports. Let's do it. Let's talk Sooner.
Sooner basketball, huge win today. I'm going to actually backtrack. It was a win they absolutely should have won.
Had to.
To say huge, I mean, I guess you could with that, but it was big. They got Arkansas next, but they're going to have to win at Arkansas to have a chance.
Had to win it, and Arkansas, they don't play Arkansas until next Saturday, so they got a week before that. So, hey, Michael's asking, went to Preacher, said, no, actually, I have never eaten there, Michael. I need to get out there. I know everybody loves it. Just have never been out there, but yeah.
Hey,
so another
Hunter,
must win on Saturday. Correct. I think so.
Yeah, and Hunter posted the Jim Knowles quote from the presser, which said, beat Notre Dame. That's all I'm focused on. These things happen, I guess, when you have success. Players are making plays. My job is to put them in the best position. These things, and you go to the next one, come up when you do well. And all that to say, he never denied a thing. So
well, and Sergeant Lincoln's dead on with this. It's a classic deflection, but it's also what do you want him to say, guys? Like, no coach is going to be like, first off, you can't say I'm not going anywhere else because you might be thinking about it. Second off, you just how are you going to? Golden answered the same way about the Bengals job. He answered the same way today. Al Golden did from Notre Dame. So I don't know what you expect. So that's
has Al Golden been in any talk, Jay?
Bengals, from what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
NFL. Sean B says Sooner basketball has to stop the turnovers. Agree. They have to. You know, Fears was better. I think he had 8 assists to 2 turnovers. That was better. But Forsythe got some
Forsythe.
I like Forsythe.
I like play the young guy. He's a local guy. Play him. It can't hurt. Nearly had a triple-double, Jeremiah Fears. Yeah. Jay, I know that's really not a lot of news with the Jim Knowles stuff. Monday night, national championship. Tuesday night, either celebration or they're heading back to Ohio without a national title. And then I think Wednesday's the day where things really start happening.
And I see Billy's comment here. Appreciate you joining us, Billy, as usual here. The point is he didn't say he was going nowhere, which he could have. Correct. But how many times have guys said, I'm not going anywhere, and then they go somewhere? And all that happens on that is they get wham blasted and ripped all over media for doing it. So I think he just took
wham blasted. I think it's lamb basted, but
is it lamb? I don't know. You're you're gonna correct me on it no matter what. I know that.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what you expect a guy like him to say. And they're getting ready to play a national championship game, and that's gonna. Hey, I will say tomorrow night. Hopefully, going to have a special guest on, preview that game, and also talk OU football. But I'm excited for the championship game. I think it's going to be a good game. I do. I got Notre Dame. I'm sticking with it. I may be dead wrong.
Does this game get above 24 points from either side, Jay? I say above 24.
I think 24 would be the top.
Yeah.
Hunter thinks it will get above that.
Well, if it gets above 24, Notre Dame's not winning.
Probably not.
That's my take, Jay.
It's cold out here in this too. I need an extra jacket.
What was the Boz take? I missed it.
I didn't see that either. I don't know what Aaron's referring to on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, man. What else happening, Jay? For OU, there's not a lot happening right now. It's winter workouts.
Winter workout. That's it.
And then waiting on the DC. Again, anyone that thinks it's someone on staff is just kidding themselves. The only way that happens is if Jim Knowles says no, because they're going to talk to Knowles, I think.
You would think it's been this long, but who knows, Jeremy? I don't know. Love said today, Sean, he's 100% healthy, ready to go. That's what he said today. So he is a very big problem. I think he's an outstanding running back.
Well, his last game, he hurdled the guy, so he looked pretty full strength then.
Yeah, but
he's got a big win. It's frustrating to watch a team that struggles that much. Moving Jalen Moore to the top of the key where he can penetrate to the left or right side and not worry about the baseline, and that's good.
Daniel says they got coaches stationed too. Hated that. As far as, is that what are talking about winter workouts, coaches stations? I'm not sure if that's
Daniel might be able to fill us in on coaches station.
Yeah.
Give us a little insight into that.
And Jerem, this was brought up to you, a week ago? Who was it? Chuck? I think Chuck called in and asked you this. How would you feel if it's not Knowles? And at that time, I can't remember your answer, but how would you
Actually,
feel?
What I said was, if the worst case scenario was it is what it is now with BV helping call it, okay. But right now, with all the talk with Knowles, I'd be disappointed, Jay.
Yeah, and maybe, hey, we're going to open the phone lines up here in a minute. Maybe Daniel can give us some insight on Michael's asking about the coaches station. Heard it was tough. Might be easier than putting in the chat.
Hey,
I'm not sure.
Okie Long guy pushing positivity, man. I guess that's and guess what? You're absolutely wrong. But I'm glad you were positive, but you were wrong.
Here's the bigger question. In our lifetime, okay, everybody knows I'm not young, I'm not old, I'm kind of mid. Any chance OU wins a natty and national championship? I don't like the word natty. National championship in basketball. What do you think percentage of that is? Okay, let me give a percentage. Do you say over or under? 20%.
Under.
Under?
Yeah, 10, 15%. I mean, the way it happens is you get an elite 2 or 3 recruits that can just take them themselves.
Got a couple saying 0.0. And Aaron's right about this, though. The big guy, they can't get a big, but how many big ones are they?
Wanabe, like Kevin Bacon did in the air up there. And get someone who can just dunk on everyone.
Yeah, one shining moment roster like they had back with Buddy Hield and them. But basketball's tough. I mean, I think it's a tough sport to win a championship in, just because the grind you have to go through in the tournament to get there. College football's kind of getting that way a little bit, because I mean, to win 3 or 4 games down in playoff instead of 2, it's difficult. It's difficult. So
did we get the phone lines in there, Jay?
Hunter, drop the phone lines.
I'm very curious. And by the way, check out the Fan Stop, thefanstop.com, officially licensed gear, locally owned, great people at the Fan Stop. Sign up, please, for the Shirt of the Month Club. You'll get a new shirt each and every month sent to your house. It's a different design, different colors. They have some short sleeves, long sleeves, hoodies if you choose that package. Otherwise, you can get the short sleeve T-shirt package, but you get one each and every month. and you can get 10% off your first 3 months if you use code SURGE. Looking forward to hearing about this coaches station, Jay.
Yeah, there's the link. If you want to call in, it's open. Phone lines are open. We will talk to whoever wants to call in. So
hey, as long as we keep it clean and there's no vulgar, and hey, like you said early, Jay, we're not going to make our show about something else. So
yeah, what's up, Daniel? Got Daniel Brooks on the line. How are you, man?
Yeah.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially what Coach's Station is, and I doubt very seriously they didn't change it. I'm shocked a lot of people don't know about it. But so it I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it's either every other day or every day before or after a workout. So either I'm trying to see where I'm trying to start where I think it might have been after. But anyway, so essentially all the coaches that are part of obviously the team, they have different stations. One station you have ropes, other station you have like this change of direction drill, another station you have a different thing, and you go through that multiple times, or I think you go through that multiple times, about 3 minutes, and then you have to switch in under a minute. And we have our flats on, and this is an indoor in the cleats. So if you slip and fall, you get a demerit, and if you get a demerit, you have to at the end you have to like run or anything like that. So after that's done, we either have 200s or tug of war or something like that, and that is pretty sure typically after the workouts, the winter workouts we have with Smitty, and I think we do it for 2 weeks. The first part of winter workouts is when we have the coaching stations. And when I say not fun, if you speak to any former player that went through that, I'm not sure if they changed it or not. I doubt they have, but it's not fun. It's terrible.
What's the hardest station or coach? Hunter's asking.
Let me think. I probably would say either Smitty's or whatever coach had this ring drill. So it was like these like long hula hoop shaped things. You had to run around them in a figure eight without touching the ground or something like that. And Schmitty's is you jump forward and you're on all fours, and he'll point one direction. You have to turn on all fours. You have to, completely turn, stay on your feet, turn, go the other way, turn, go the other way. You have to jump forward, jump back, and then when they say hit, you got to sprint. And if you mess up the direction that he's pointing to, you either at the start or go in the back, you have to do one extra. So that's a bad one. There was another one where you start in the middle and there is 4 cones shaped in a square, and they point to whichever one you go to. And if you mess up, you get a demerit, you have to sprint at the end. And when I say, like I'm saying, if it's terrible, it's like literally the worst. Like all of us hated it, but I'm shocked that a lot of y'all don't know about those, but yeah, they're awful.
I think I vaguely heard about it, but I don't think I ever heard it called that, which it makes sense why it's called that.
Is it worse in the winter or summer? Someone asked. Are they cranking the heat in the indoor when you guys are doing it?
No, the heat's not on in there. So what makes it bad is it's because it's after a workout. With summer workouts, we go in the morning, or depending on whenever you go in, we do our warm-ups. Your warm-ups are, whatever it is, some, work. Then we go in and lift. And afterward, we have the conditioning, which can be, sprints, the track, uh, ramps, anything like that. Which ramps, I hate those where we go to the stadium and run the ramps. I don't know if y'all heard about that. Completely terrible, awful. It's hard to say. Honestly, I would say probably the winter workouts are worse, only because the break right after, typically like the break that we're on during Christmas time, is pretty bad. And summer workouts, when you come in, Smitty and them kind of ease into it. It's not as tense, but for some reason, the winter workouts, you come in, it's coach's stations, let's go. So I think that's what makes it worse. But I'll keep saying it is terrible, and I do not miss it.
No, I bet, man. Hey, I appreciate the explanation, Daniel.
Yeah,
thanks
for explaining to the viewers what that is.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Daniel.
You're welcome, guys.
Appreciate it. Hey, before we get to Chester, Germ.
Yeah.
Let me say my opinion on this. Bart, appreciate you joining. Out of those two guys, I'd be more in favor of Kellen. I think he's more ready than Hollis. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's right.
I agree. I mean, he's been around a coach his whole life. I would absolutely go for Kellen, and maybe he could bring Quantis. He's one of the assistants at Houston. Let Hollis stay with Kelvin, and let Quantis, come over with Kellen. So we got Chester on the line. Boomer Sooner for Life. Chester, what's up?
Hey, how y'all?
All right, man.
We're good, man.
I just want to say, when you're in the Sooner Surge, you're in it for life.
Absolutely.
And I want to point out that, yeah, I say it, and I'm going to say it again. Fire Joe C., fire Beatonbow, fire Murray, fire JJF, and fire Emmett Jones. And why on earth is it only at OU when we hire an OC and he can't bring who he wants?
Well, one I would say, Chester, one thing I would say to that, I don't know that Ben Arbuckle even has his own guys. He's not been around a whole lot.
How do we know?
Well,
I know for a fact.
Don't make me bring up Joe Craddock's situation again. Please don't.
To be fair, did Lincoln bring anybody in?
Joe John.
Well,
Finley,
he brought in Ruffin McNeil.
Exactly.
Simmons.
He brought in Joe John Finley.
Says Dennis Simmons.
Okay.
So he did bring one guy in. And who knows? I mean,
Hey, Simmons was a pretty good recruiter.
Hey, and Chester, before they hired an OC, my opinion was I thought the OC should have some say in who the coaches are. So I'm
Exactly.
with you a little bit now. I'm not sitting there saying fire all of them like you are, but hey, that's your opinion, man. I mean,
I know
DeMarco
for a fact.
Murray
You
may be
guys
gone
know it.
to Dallas.
You guys know for a fact, right? The offense, even in the Riley years, got worse towards the end. They did. The numbers prove it.
The numbers were getting a little worse. They were still really good, but they were getting worse.
Oh, they were still good, but they were getting worse than what it was previously.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's because these guys, other than Emmett Jones, these guys were there then. They've been there since Riley was still there.
Yeah, I would love to know a breakdown of how many OCs bring staffs with them to schools, though. I don't think it's that high as people think.
Why are we holding everybody hostage to keep Beatonbow? You can't come here.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Well, we're not going to hire anybody because you're going to keep Beatonbow.
Well, I'm
He's going to be your
Beatonbow
coach.
because, and hey, I'm
still with Beatonbow. I'm still on the Beatonbow.
I've talked to some people, Jay, at other schools. They said if OU fires Beatonbow, they'd go get him in a heartbeat.
Everybody would. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, they probably would.
Yeah.
To me,
we'll see though.
But hey, I'm curious though. When he does go somewhere else, is it going to take 10 games a season for his O line to gel?
Well, yeah. I hope it doesn't.
I don't know. That's the key. Hey,
anyways, don't worry about others trying to dip in your Kool-Aid.
Oh, we don't.
Surge rules. Surge rules.
Thanks, man. Hey, I want to get to
Jay, am I lagging or are you?
I'm not lagging. Hey, I want to get to SDG's comment because I don't know if this is something, I don't even know how to look it up, Hunter, or anything, but I would lean towards what he's saying here, that a lot of times the OC or DC doesn't bring in a whole lot with them. I still like it if they could bring in guys, but I understand the point. I think a lot of them don't. But let's get to Jackson. Jackson, you're on the line. What's up?
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
How come y'all have on the suits?
You have to go back and watch the first part of the live.
All right, and
we were on YouTube today. Somebody put us on their video, so we kind of famous, I guess.
We wanted to dress up in case.
Okay, all right, yep. And then
I wouldn't call it famous. I wouldn't call it famous because it's on a show that's smaller than ours, but you know.
Yeah, I think I get the gist of everything. For you guys, Jay and Germ, so whenever you talk about this offseason for Oklahoma, what are two players individually for each of you guys that have the most to prove going into next season? If that's maybe a true freshman that's coming in trying to earn a role to play early, yeah, or like maybe if they're trying to take that role into being a star, or maybe like if they need to be a major contributor on this team, or what?
I would say this offensively, to me, one guy that has the most to prove I think it's Taylor Tatum. He's a sophomore. He played a little bit as a freshman. If he's wanting to be that like 5-star running back, I think this would be the year for him to take that step. He's the guy that I think, okay, for his future at Oklahoma, second year in this offense, which, oh, by the way, though, this offense, I heard somebody else talk about this. It fits the way Gavin Sawchuk runs really well. So I will be interested to see what he does too. But
to me, my guy, and look, it's been the guy I've talked about a lot. On the offensive side, I would say Devon Mitchell or Jaden Gibson have a lot to prove. Both those guys do. On the defensive side, I think a guy that I think a guy that needs to prove himself and just really wants to, because he probably didn't play as much maybe as he thought. David Stone.
Yeah.
it's year 2 for him. Yes, it's a year to take a step for sure. I would agree. Do you got a name, Jackson? What's your name? Give me one name.
Well, for me, I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, I was going to say either Jacob Sexton or EPL, because I think that those guys, because Sexton, I understand before he got hurt, he was starting to play good, but I think we all thought that he could have potentially been an NFL guy. And EPL, if he's really as good as a lot of OU fans like to make him out to be, and like we've seen the athleticism he has, I feel like he needs to show that he can be a starting guard, because Oklahoma, they need to improve immensely on the offensive line, and I think he could be a great start if he hits the ceiling that we all think he has.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they got to have an O-lineman step up and start to be that guy, and maybe one of those two guys is it. So we'll see, man. Peyton Bowen's a good one too. Hey, thanks for the call, Jackson.
Good question. Did the viewers in the chat drop in kind of their opinion on that? I see Peyton Bowen. Bart Taylor said there was an interview from Kelvin Sampson, Jay, that we need to check out. And I'd love to check it out. Kelvin Sampson, Heart Hustle Hardwood, Tim Heskett, Renzi Stone, Johnny Gilbert, Darian Selvey. I can go on and on about how much of a fan I am for Robert Allison. I love the early years of Kelvin Sampson. Jason Dietrich. Nate Erdman. Oh,
Birdman, man, he could jump out of the gym. So, yeah.
And Uzan's playing good at Houston.
Yeah, but this is Kelvin Sampson to me this year. I think Duke's really good. They lost, though, today. I think the SEC has a couple really good teams. But Kelvin Sampson with Houston, they have the best shooting team they've had under him. They can shoot the ball. That's been kind of their Achilles heel in tournament. They get in a tournament, they go in these scoring slumps, kind of like he did at OU there for a while. But they got guys that can score the ball and shoot the ball.
Hey,
so I'm picking them to make a decent run.
Top Dog is back. He's still there in basketball. And by the way, one of my good friends who's been in the chat a lot, he was Top Dog. He was Top Dog back in. Who?
Oh, never mind.
Brett.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, Brett was Top Dog for about 2 or 3 years. Oh, yeah.
And Matt says Duke won. For some reason, I thought I heard they lost, but I didn't keep up with it today, so I don't know.
Yeah, Top Dog came down from the rafters today. Jay, the Bill, look, again, I mean, if you had to rate kind of the guys, you would, I guess, the ones that would be closest with their foot out the door as far as who need to get rid of, Bill Beatenbow, in my opinion, is not even near the
Jeremy, right now, offensive staff wise, I have one guy that I think should not be there, and that's Joe John Finley.
You can't disagree with that, but I also say DeMarco Murray.
I'm not there. I mean, it depends on who you would hire, but yeah, right now though, like Joe John Finley to me is the number one. Like that's the one issue that I see. Bill Beatenbow, I would not get rid of. No, I would not.
Hey, I do want to say this. I know Caden Durham looked great. I know Taylor Tatum looked average. I'm just telling you right now. And maybe I don't know a thing about football. People say I don't. But I do know that I've watched enough football to know that sometimes guys who were great their freshman year weren't great their sophomore, junior years. And guys that weren't very good their freshman year had phenomenal years after that. It's hard to figure out.
Tatum, I think Tatum needs to take that step, though, I think. Fresh out the boxes, speaking of big men, look up Kai Rogers. I love Kai Rogers. I think he's really talented and really good.
Hey, I said Devon Mitchell has a lot to prove. He does. Do you disagree with that, Rib? You calling me a genius?
Well,
cool.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Jerem. he hasn't played yet. So it's hard to say a lot to prove because he hasn't like played and not done anything. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he has a lot to prove, I guess, but that's not the way I would word it. I would just say you're looking for him to be more of a playmaker this year because he didn't play last year.
No, I think he's got a lot to prove based on what he said after the last game. Hey, Ron, you missed it last night. Steve Stutzman called you out, said he loves you, man. Loves all of you.
That's true.
And you missed it. You weren't here for it.
You need to go back and watch that. Tatum, Taylor, and probably, I don't know, but I don't think so, Sooner Cowboy. I don't think so.
Hey, we found the genius. I'm the genius. I'm the genius.
Are you? What? I don't think you are, Jeremy.
Yep, because I said Devon Mitchell has a lot to prove.
We got a couple Texas fans in here, I see. Bright future in football, too. I agree. I think he is. Durham is really good, guys. I don't think anybody
really good. I would love to have both of them.
Yeah, Durham's really good back. He's going to be really good. I'm not doubting that at all. And that's the thing. Just like Jeremiah Fears in basketball who reclassified, Devon Mitchell reclassified. He should have been a senior in high school last year, so you can't expect a whole lot out of him.
Sweat was a 3-star of a high school. Hey, guess what?
Jerem, why, Jerem? Why?
I'm just going to say something.
Why?
Hey, all I know is, Jay, we did a trivia where you tried to stump me on numbers and people tried to stump me on plays from the last 3 years. I think I got every one of them right, so.
Aaron says Fears needs to come back. I don't think Fears is going to come back. But, I mean, I just don't.
Hey, I got to get to this because I know a couple people were saying this last night. 918 says, wanted to bring this up about last night's live. As it ended, Jeremy, you said J.J. McCarthy didn't play like a 5-star at Michigan. He went. Okay. Hunter, can you drop me his stats, Hunter?
He got you there on that one, didn't he?
No, Jay, just a minute. I said.
He is.
Okay, whatever, Jay. Interrupt.
Are you saying? I know what you're saying. You're saying as far as stat wise.
His last year when they won the Natty, he made some huge plays, but I believe did he get benched some? And Jay, also stat wise, I mean he was a game manager. He didn't seem like a 5-star. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, and Rob, you're absolutely correct. I was watching that game tonight, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. Dan Quinn should be head coach at Dallas. Period.
Yeah, game manager,
and they let him go to be a coach at Washington, a rival. I mean, it's ridiculous. Jerry Jones is absolutely.
Jay, would you consider Josh Heupel a 5-star?
No, but McCarthy's more talented.
Did Josh Heupel play like a 5-star?
No, but
yeah, Josh Heupel had really good stats. He wasn't a 5-star. Hey, let me explain this. Yeah, let me explain this. Why would I say that Devon Mitchell has a lot to prove? Based on his quote. This is not something I'm concocting myself. I'm not saying, first off, he didn't play. So people thought he would play. He didn't play. At the end of the year, he says why he didn't play. It was his fault. So to me, if it's his fault that he didn't play, based on whatever things those were, he's got a lot to prove to people. Like, if I was expected to play, but I made bad decisions and wasn't able to get in any game,
was he expected to play as a
prove is what I mean.
Was he expected to play as a true freshman? I don't think so.
Yeah, Jay, a lot of people thought he was playing this year. Come on.
I disagree.
Please, Jason.
I disagree with you. He was 18 years old. I disagree with that. I disagree with you on that. Okay. And I respectfully disagree. I don't think a lot of people thought he would be. Yeah, elite NFC North's been terrible in the playoffs so far. You're right.
Is that a 4-year career? Was it 4 years, Hunter? 4 years there?
He's a good quarterback. I don't know what the big deal is.
I never said he wasn't a good quarterback. They won a natty with him.
2 and change on his years. So
all I
here's
said
the
was
deal.
He didn't play like a 5-star.
Hey, Sooner Cowboy, in my opinion, if they don't lose next week to the Baltimore Buffalo winner, they aren't losing. There's not an NFC team that's going to beat the Chiefs, in my opinion. No. Washington, Eagles, Rams, I don't think any of those teams would beat the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs are going to lose, it's going to be to Buffalo or Baltimore next week. By the way, Cade McNamara is now he just went from Iowa to another school, a smaller school. It's kind of wild.
Where?
I can't remember. He's going the other direction. What's up, Sooner WX? How you doing tonight? What's up, Mess? Breaking news. Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Breaking news tonight as Mateer is the best running quarterback since Kyler Murray at OU.
Wow.
But
that's
okay.
Well, since Kyler, who do they have?
Hurts would be
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Come on,
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, man. Come on now. Yeah, I'm with you. East Tennessee State.
I said he was expected to play. A lot of pundits said, man, they need Devon Mitchell to be playing. A lot of people thought he did.
Hey, you know what, Matt? There's some comments up here that are just wild, but then there's this comment that's, oh, you will have 40 straight losing season. Yeah, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. So
yeah, Arnold did run well. He couldn't hold on to the ball, and that would be too much Kool-Aid to say that to say that John Mateer is going to be the best since Murray. If that happens, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, I do feel comfortable having Michael Hawkins as a backup. If John Mateer were to go down, at least they have, two guys there that can run the ball, that can use their legs. And we're seeing tonight, Jaden Daniels, that's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal in the league and in sports right now. You got in the national championship game, Will Howard and Riley Leonard, both guys who can use their legs.
Yeah. I think that game, if Notre Dame gets down by 13, 14 points, I think that game could be trouble. I think they gotta start strong. Hawkins, I think Hawkins will be really good for us. I would agree. I think it will be. I don't think this year because I don't think he's going to play, but I think after that, yes, I would agree. And guys, the best thing for Hawkins would be to learn a year in this offense. It would be great for him in his development. Agree, Sean. Give him time. Let him develop. Let's not rush everybody out there. Hey, now here's the thing. I think part of the reason with the Devon Mitchell stuff, Chuck, from what Jerm said, I think part of the reason for that is people were so tired of the tight end room that they just wanted somebody out there with talent. I don't think he was ready. Give the guy time to develop. But
hey, based on Daniel's comment, now the D-line is going to be special in my opinion. The O-line, if you go back, what year would be considered the best? Would it have been?
Since 2017?
Yeah, what year would you say? 19?
Between 17 and now?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 19 or
the Joe Moore year. What year was the Joe Moore year, Hunter?
2020. But hey, JT, we're talking after 2017. Hey, Ralph, I gotta get Ralph's comment if I can find it up here. I don't know where it went. I'll get to it here in a minute.
Yep. Navy beat OU. That's correct. 2018 with Kyler was Joe Moore.
Okay, so the year after that. So maybe he's saying since then. I think he's probably saying.
No, he said since 2017, but it could be since 2018. Even then, I'd take it.
And it will be a totally different offense. You would think it would be an offense that's gonna. Maybe the O-line will be able to do some things. Maybe in the schemes they're doing. I don't know. I think Daniel's right on the D. I think the D-line is going to be really good. I think the O-line has the chance to be way better. But until I see who the five are going to be and how they're playing together, it's hard for me to just sit here and say, let's go. Because I don't know yet. I don't know who the five are going to be. I mean, if you tell me next year that they're throwing some of the same guys out there, I'd say I'd need to see a lot more development between them.
Well, here's what I know. If you're going ones against ones, if someone can block this D-line, they need to be playing. I mean, they're going to have difficult matchups in practice all day long. Like, you should be able to tell by the first game who can block the best. If you're going against this D-line, you should be able to tell, okay, if they can block that guy, they can play in the SEC.
Do you think Fasusi starts right now? Would you say yes or no? Day one, game one. I say no, not game one. I would love it, but I don't think they'll do it. He looks
based
really
on Beadenbow, I would say no, but I would be for it.
Chuck says, thank you, Jay. You definitely bound each other out. Hey, that's true. That's true.
And Sexton, Azida, Everett, EPL, Simmons. Is that better than this line this year?
Here's what I'll say. I'd like that, except there's one guy I'm not sure about. You know who it is out of that?
It's Sexton.
No, it's Sexton because of injury, and Simmons. I don't know enough about Simmons to say that I think he's going to be really great right tackle. I don't know enough about him yet. Now, I'm not saying he can't play. Don't get me wrong.
There is a guy I don't want to see in there, and it's Fabechi. I don't want to see Fabechi as a starter.
Now, I heard somebody say that, I don't remember who it was, saying that they thought Fabechi is going to be a lot better next year because he gets another year under, like McCade Matauer made a big jump. That could possibly happen, but he just had such, he did not have a very good year. And now I like what 918 said, though. He moved EPL to left, but I liked Ozida. I thought he was getting better. So 918, I would respectfully say I would disagree, and I'd move EPL back to right and get Fabechi off there and leave Ozida in. But I'm just a fan. Guys, earth to everybody. News flash. I didn't coach O-line. I don't know the O-line very well. So I'm a fan.
Azida got better. Howland got better. I never saw that Fabechi Wee-Woo got better. Daniel, I think personally wanted to go closer to home because he went to UCLA.
Yeah. I agree. I think it was a home thing. Ozida did get better. Mateer might be running for his life. He might not, Robert. And maybe you want him to be running a lot too. I understand what you're saying, not from sacks, but
one thing we know for certain, based on at least what you've seen with John Mateer, he has a lot of ability to extend the play and throw. He gets his eyes up and he sees the field. This year, think about a couple of times when Hawkins did that. It was tutties. One against Navy, another one against Auburn where he extended the play and made the completion. I think you're going to see a lot of that from Arbuckle.
Sergeant Lincoln says, have a grievance against former No-Tex players. If you don't like Wee-Woo, you don't trust Beatum. I trust Beatum, but here's my thing. I'm just saying, I think EPL is better than him. That's all. I mean, do you not think EPL is better than Wee-Woo?
Wee-Woo had his chance this year, Jay. Didn't play great. He was okay.
I think EPL, hey, I know he's young, but I think he's a better lineman than Wee-Woo. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, you could move EPL over to the left, but then I think Ozida was getting quite a bit better, I thought. Now, he's not there yet, but and no, Ron says Knowles asked me if the talk is about coming to OU or OSU.
Hey, not only run good routes and catch passes, but they've got to block. You can't play 5'7" guys all across the wide receiver unit and expect to block. They've got to have guys who are blocking if they're going to do some short routes.
And I see Chester saying run the ball. Yeah. Look at both these teams. Both these teams in the championship can run. Most teams that made the playoffs have a decent running game. You got to have a good running game. When was the last time? Here's the thing. Under Levy, they could run the ball pretty well. They were pretty good running the ball under Levy, even with not great offensive lines.
It could be a thing. Is Fasusi on campus right now?
No, he was at the Polynesian Bowl.
But he's going to be early enrollee,
yes, correct.
I'm gonna say that Fasusi is going to open the eyes just like Jaden Jackson did. That's what I'm going to say. Jaden Jackson, the moment he impressed at all the bowl games he went to, he got on campus, he turned heads, he wooed them. I think Fasusi does the same thing.
Yeah, he's really good. Like just on the videos I saw, he just looks unbelievable. And Mess has
Tackle
a good point.
does not have to be as big as an interior offensive line.
Hey, and Mess has a good point. The surgery that Howland went through, the off-season gains that you can gain, that does affect some of these guys. So we'll see. Hey, Rocky, put that W in the win column and maybe put a lot more W's. Who knows? I think it's up in the air. I'm not going to sit here and pick 9 wins right now, but I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying I'm not picking it right now. I got to see some things. I got to see a lot of things. I got to see a lot of games, probably a lot of things in the first 3 weeks to say, okay, and then I can maybe making a projection. Because right now, the offseason, you got a lot of changes. You're going to have a new DC. You have a new OC. This is a second year in the SEC, and you have 2 coordinators again.
Hey, Phone lines are open. Check out the fan stop at thefanstop.com. Call in tonight. Give us a take on something. Would love to chat with you or drop it in the chat. But Jay, I think it's time for trivia. Do you have
Yeah,
one?
hang on 1 second.
Okay, sorry. Who's y'all's favorite transfer outside of Mateer? I've said mine. Well, on the offensive side, it's Giovanni Gibson for me. On the defensive side, it's Kendall Daniels. I think Giovanni Gibson, Kendall Daniels, absolute playmakers. Sergeant Lincoln, we do have a Discord. It's active to say the least. It's hyper active often, and we go at it in there pretty
Gotta have a strong
consistently,
backbone.
regularly. So if you want to join up on that, Hunter, maybe you can drop it in there, but you have to join the Sooner Surge Unlimited, become a member, and then we will email you the Discord link. So
Yeah,
join the channel, Sooner Surge Unlimited, then email us at SoonerSurgePod@gmail.com, and we'll send you the link.
hey, and I'm going to get to trivia. I just had to look it up because I wanted to make sure I knew this number correct. Somebody mentioned earlier about turning the ball over and running the ball fumbles. All I want to know is how many fumbles did OU have in 2024? This past year, how many fumbles did they have? It'll blow your mind. I'm not talking about fumbles. I'm talking about lost fumbles. They turned it over. How many? This stat is almost, I can't even believe it. It's a number. It's shocking to me.
And Chuck, it may not happen. And Ron, I'm sorry. I rarely say absolutes, but you're dead wrong. There is no, unless he's injured, he's playing.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. He's going to be good.
Not even a chance he's not playing. You see it yet, Jay?
There it is. I see it. Jackson, you got beat out by milliseconds from Teresa. Teresa with the point tonight. 26 fumbles. How many games did they play, Germ? 13. That's 2 a game. Can you do the math? 2 a game.
Wow.
Hey,
Dan
Teresa,
Quinn.
you get the point tonight. Remember, giveaway at the end of January. We're going to add the points up from every night. We'll update those probably Monday night.
Ron, I have seen Kendall Daniels play in high school at Beggs, and I've seen him play at OSU. And guess what? He's really, really good. He's playing next year. Not only that, I'm going to make a bold statement right now. Kendall Daniels is starting at OU. Mark it down.
We'll see. I think he's really good. And Ron, I've heard other people, specifically, I've heard a lot of OSU fans say this. I don't know. To be honest with you, I did not watch a whole lot of OSU football other than when OU was in the Big 12 and they were playing OU. So I can't comment a whole lot about everything yet because I didn't watch everything about him. I just know he's a really talented guy. Had a good game versus Arkansas, Hunter said. I'd have to go back and watch some of the tape. I just think he's a really talented guy. I think he plays quite a bit. I think the question is, how does Kendall Dolby, how does he come back from that injury? I think that's part of the question.
Yeah, that's a big part. And then where he plays as far as maybe in some nickel, maybe in some corner and things like that.
Hey, I'm going to do something right here. It's 43 minutes. I got to say this. Today is Saturday. By Thursday, is there a DC announcement?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes. Okay.
95%, Jay. And by the way, you heard what Trace Ford said about Jim Knowles.
Yeah, I've heard you say this. Yeah.
Kendall Daniels reunion. And then we heard what Steve Stutzman said last night about Jim Knowles. If you missed it, go check it out because Steve Stutzman had some really good things to say about him.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with Chester. If it's not Knowles, then I think we all know who it would be. If it's not Knowles, it's one of two guys, Wes Goodwin or Brandon Hall, correct?
Well, it would have to be at that point, Jay.
Have to be.
Yeah, final
Steve,
10 last night.
Yeah, final. Go check out last night's live. Steve had some great stuff to say last night.
And I would love to see a little more pounds on Gavin Sawchuk.
Yeah, but he runs a lot now, and Daniel probably knows a lot. Not probably, he knows way more about this than I do. But he runs a lot to me like Kennedy Brooks, Sawchuk does. He's not a guy that you're going to hand it to and he's just going to bust it through the line, whether there's something there or not. he's very patient, kind of waiting for his spots. And that's more, isn't that more of a zone running back, like a zone type scheme?
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I just think he's more of that
Hey.
type of a runner. Thrawn says he will take credit for the hoop, man.
And thanks so much, Thrawn, for not watching and helping get that W. Aaron, I saw someone on Twitter post that it's going to be interesting watching Jim Knowles coach Jim Knowles with BV's defense is going to be elite. Guess what? It would be Jim Knowles with Jim Knowles defense. Like, let's stop. Jim Knowles would call it all.
Correct. What's up, Chester? Back. You off tonight?
Yeah, I'm off. I got to get going to bed. I got to get up real early. But I said this about 8 months ago. Maybe it was 6 months ago. Never change. You guys are here because of the way you do it.
Hey, appreciate
and
it.
the Surge fans love y'all.
Hey, means a lot, Chester.
Just don't change. Don't cower. Don't even heed to these others. Okay, just be you. That's why we love you. Boomer Sooner for life. Good night.
Hey, appreciate it, Chester.
And Jay, I said the quote early on today, the Ralph Waldo Emerson. If you have not read any Ralph Waldo Emerson, you need to. Being in the English field for 20 years, I love Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
I don't read books. I read the Bible, and that's it.
That's a book.
I don't, but I don't read very many books. So I've never read Ralph Waldo Emerson.
I'm thinking we should dress up every night, Jay.
I mean, I know where Where's Waldo is, but I've never heard of Ralph Waldo. I've heard of him.
Now, Randy, the one concern I have is what you just put in there. If there is the one thing I think would be if Ohio State just says, you're not getting him, we're going to like double his salary, triple it or something. But I'm not sure they're going to do that, especially if there has been some friction. So I don't know. And I saw the comment, and thanks, Kev, for the comment on the sports jacket. We had to dress up, when you're on other podcasts, as far as, you never know. Maybe someone will, maybe on someone else's tonight, Jay. Everyone's talking about TikTok here. There was a comment about Jim Knowles. And I think it was, if I know that for a fact. I know for a fact that Jim Knowles comes to OU, then Jim Knowles is going to have the total control of the defense. He's not going to come here unless he does.
Yeah, I mean, that would be like, hey, Lincoln Riley, will you come be our OC? But I'm not going to have you call the plays.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jim Knowles is going to be the DC at Oklahoma, he's going to be the DC at Oklahoma. I don't think there's any question about that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just don't think there would be a question. So,
and you think about that staff then at that point, Jay. BV has no ties to Ben Arbuckle. Now,
correct.
I mean, no ties to Jim Knowles. He trusts the other guys on defense to the utmost. Todd Bates, Miguel Chavis, all those guys, like he trusts them. Brandon Hall, big time trust in those guys. Like at that point, BV would be exactly what he needs to be at that point.
Now, I will say this. This is interesting. Is sometimes when you're waiting on a certain coach, maybe something else comes up. Like the comment about NFL. What happens if an NFL job pops up as a DC in the NFL? I mean, there are things that can change when you still haven't got a guy that you want. So we'll see. You got 2 days. You have a championship game, and then we'll see after that.
Hey, and Fanstop's correct. You would have two of the best defensive minds in college football on the same staff. And Steve said it last night. Steve Stutzman said when him and Danny talked to Jim Knowles, they said he was an absolute mastermind. Okay, you got iron sharpening iron at that point. And
yeah, you're right. And
friction would be fine anyway.
Friction's good. There's nothing wrong. You don't want to agree on everything.
We have friction on here every night. And guess what? It's great.
Yeah, I like it. And you know what? Hey, Jerm, you remember the high school days? I see it because of the Washington Commanders, but we had a buddy of ours that was a huge Washington Commander fan. That guy, loved that guy. Jason, he was great. And we would show up to school before school would start at 7:30. You know what time we got to school? How about
6:45?
6:45? You know why? Just to trash talk each other about Dallas and Washington. And it was great. You know what? We may almost come to fist, but 30 minutes later, it's like nothing happened. And that's kind of, I mean, that's just the way it is.
Hey, and real quick, before we get to corrections, Soonerthron. That's an awesome. You wrote a paper in 1993 about a 16-team playoff. We're at 12. 16, I think, is about 2 or 3 years away, but I think it's happening. And you
that
got
is awesome.
Good job.
That's awesome. Hey, corrections 101. You're on the line.
Hey guys, you look dapper tonight.
Hey,
Appreciate
it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've had an entertaining today. You know, got to unsubscribe from a channel and cancel a paid membership to another channel. And I won't use the word, but it rhymes with witch. It was such a witch thing that they did, you know, back in the day, you know, especially when you have an open line every night where they can come on and tell you man to man what they think and just agree to disagree. You know, it was pretty pathetic. And, you know, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. But, you know, this is such a great channel. You know, you guys are doing something no one else does. And how great is it, you know, when Steve Stutzman calls in and it's just absolute gold. And, you know, we have a former, you know, OU player, you know, in the chat and calling in every night. It's just amazing.
Oh, yeah. Great.
You know, and Steve, you know, I mean, I just imagine him last night. I was thinking, man, this guy has his Crown and Coke and cleaning his favorite shotgun while sitting here talking Sooner Surge. And we just get to hear these little gems, you know, throughout. And it's so amazing. And I hope, Steve, if you're listening, man, you've raised a terrific son. You've been a great father. And we, you know, love it when you call into the Surge. So hopefully you can tonight. And maybe we'll hit 10:30 and we'll say run it back for another hour. But, you know, love this channel. And, you know, there's people that I disagree with all the time. You know, Chester drives me nuts half the time, and a lot of these other, you know, doomers do. But there's one thing. It's like in a jail, you know, where I work. You know, you trust the man to your left, trust the man to your right, and I'd go down swinging for any of these guys in the chat, even when they drive me nuts. You know, because even families fight every once in a while. And you know, hopefully I see him at the spring game. I'll buy each one of them a beer.
Hey, that is a great
call of the night, right? That is awesome stuff. Correction.
Great stuff, man. Appreciate the kind words. And also what you said about the chat, like brothers, man, everybody, whether you agree or disagree, that's what it's fans. It's fandom. If you look the word fan up in the dictionary, it's people that are passionate about their team. Doesn't mean you're always going to agree, but man, appreciate the call, man.
Yeah. Chester and all those guys, they're every bit of Sooner Nation as us, regardless of the opinion.
Right.
That's right.
Boomer Sooner for life, as Chester would say.
Yeah,
thanks,
appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
It,
yep.
Great call. Good stuff right there with the corrections. Hey, yeah. I see some stuff here, Jay, about, and I saw Rhino pop in here. The stuff about, again, the DC. It's the one piece that everyone's waiting on because there's not any other portal news. The one piece that everyone's waiting on is the DC. And it's going to happen, I think, by Wednesday. I know you mentioned Thursday earlier. And then you got the full staff in place, but I don't think it's set in place because I do think there's going to be a couple of other changes based on maybe guys going elsewhere.
You think,
personal opinion.
You think they're going to lose some guys, either offensive or defensive staff? Or are you saying offensive? You saying offensive?
I think offensive, Jay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now, Jay, I will say this. You know, Jim Knowles, if he did come to OU, would he request to bring someone? I don't know. I don't think he would because he did it. He did it when he went there. He didn't take any of his guys.
And I wanted to throw this comment up from Daniel because I agree. Daniel, I already remember. You don't need to go back to it. Daniel was talking about BV. If he was at Ohio State, they would be in the championship game, just like they are now at Knowles. That's it. Brent Venables can coach defense, and they had a good defense last year. They had a good enough defense last year. If they had any type of offense, they could have won 9 games. They had it was just horrific offense. I mean, we've talked about it night after night. They get 6 wins, and the Missouri game, I know you could go back, well, they barely beat Houston, barely beat Tulane. I'm just saying if they had a competent offense, they would have had 8 or 9 wins. The defense was not the problem last year. It's not going to be the problem this year. And Brent Venables can coach defense. I think it's great if they had 2 defensive minds there. I think they, you know what, like Jeremy said earlier, maybe they agree on everything, maybe they don't. It doesn't matter. They would have a really good defense either way. Either way. DM Mac is saying, I don't know about that. If y'all are saying because of the Dallas stuff, is that what the DM stuff's coming from? Are you saying purely because of the Dallas Cowboys? Listen to me real closely. Listen to me
not me, Jay. That's not me.
But listen to me real closely. I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Whatever you think Jerry Jones is going to do, he's not going to do it. Whatever makes sense does not make sense for Jerry Jones. Probably what's going to happen is they're going to go hire Jason Witten to be the head coach. It'll be something wild. Somebody asked earlier, why? I think it was Jackson. How does Washington Commanders make the division conference championship game before Dallas? Well, I'll give you 2 words: Jerry Jones.
Hey, Jay.
Jerry
he doesn't operate.
Jones.
He doesn't operate with logic. But Jay, if Jason Witten's the head coach, DeMarco Murray likely will be at Dallas.
Well, that's
and by the way,
that's probably
I'm
true.
not just saying that, Jay. Last year he looked to go elsewhere. And Rhino says Jim Knowles takes the reins of DC and Ben Arbuckle takes the reins of OC, so BB can be the CEO. Can't wait.
That would be ideal.
Rhino, I can't agree with you more. And the thing is, with Zach Alley there, you heard Steve Stutzman say it last night. There was all BB's hand was in that all day long. Like he would not have to be in that at all. I think there could be full trust, and then work your energy and all that into just leading the team, being the leader of the team. Let your guys, but listen, Jay, that's hard sometimes. And hopefully, I think he looked in the mirror and he's realized he's learned that. He can't bring someone in, he's got a mentor. He can't bring one of his guys in so he can have his finger over everything they're doing. He's got to trust. Yeah, and Michael wants Daniel to come back and play next year. So he's a beast watching the highlights. If he only had some eligibility. The Cowboys will never win another Super Bowl until Jerry Jones is gone. Diehard Cowboy fans need to understand that. I'm with you. Hey, I'm a Cowboy fan. I still watch him. But you know what? You're going on 30 years now of not doing anything. And they are never – and I'll say this, though. I'll disagree with one thing to that. First off, Sark, he already signed an extension for Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
But what I'll say about the Jerry Jones stuff, the only way it works with Jerry Jones, there's only one way. And you got to go hire somebody that's a stronger personality and that will not put up with it. You go back, Barry Switzer, you go look at Jimmy Johnson. They played hardball.
They weren't scared to tell Jerry Jones off.
They weren't scared to tell him anything. And I don't think Dion would be scared, but I don't know if they'll hire Dion. But if you go and hire Kellen Moore, bad hire, because it's just almost like a puppet.
Dion
hire Ben Johnson. I love Ben Johnson, but will he be handcuffed? I don't know. I mean,
Dion and Gruden, I agree. Chuck, Jason Witten is actually, I think he's won now 2 straight championships in high school Christian.
He's coaching high school
private school.
Yeah. Bob Stoops. I've heard people say that, Johnny, because he coached Arlington. I just don't think Bob wants to do it. I don't think.
Oh, that would be unbelievable. He might for a few years, Jay.
No, Jeremy, I don't think so. I mean,
never know, Jay. Never know. Man, Jay, it's been fun tonight. First off, it always is. Tonight was kind of extra special. We dressed up. Of course,
I had a little fun. Had a little fun tonight, man.
Had a little fun,
hey,
man.
What's the term? Standing on business. Stand on business, man.
Stand on business. Be ourselves, Jay, like we always are in the chat as well. Look, we will always defend this community, this chat, because we do have the mantra up there, tell it like it is. That is what we try to do. I mean,
and you know what? Whatever I say is not always right. I mean, that's fair.
Can I get that on tape?
It's an opinion.
Tape?
What?
Can I get that on tape? You're not always right.
I will say, do you still have that paper that says I was wrong?
Oh, it's somewhere in here. Looks like we got someone on the line, Jay.
Got somebody on the line. Looks like Will. What's up, Will? Are you there, Will? Hello.
Can you hear us?
Going once, Will. Going twice. And he gone.
Try it again.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
what happened.
crazy. 4 turnovers. Jared Goff continues to show that he can't really win the big one, Jay.
Yeah, I think Will's there again. Let's try it again. Will, are you there?
He can't really win the big one, Jay. Yeah, I think Will.
Hey, turn your TV down or whatever it is in the background. But I think we got.
Can you hear
now.
me?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
turn your TV down or whatever's in the background. You're good.
Hey, what do you think the ceiling will be for OU next year? What's
Ceiling,
our,
I would put the ceiling at 9.
you know what? My personal opinion, I don't think that we're going to be a 9-win team. To believe it or not, I think that everybody's talking about why we're not getting good. I think that we have gotten good players. I think we got great players like going back 3 years ago. I think what you always say, which I'll be talking about, it was just a bad hire on offense. Everybody thinks that OU is just far off. I think that Brent is really learning how to be a head coach and what comes with it. And I just
That's
want to tell
fair.
the Sooner community and the fans, man, we're not that far off. We're right there. And I heard somebody say a day ago when they were talking about our schedule, if you look at our schedule, you could put 10 teams in our shoes from last year with what we dealt with, and they probably would have had a worse season than what we had this year. I feel like we're used to winning so much and how we were winning that the way our ex-coach left, I don't want to say his name, he really put us in a hole where recruiting was already bad. We weren't getting the players that we needed when it was time to compete with the big boys that we're competing with now. So everybody just got to relax. Brent came into a situation that was bad. And then the Levy situation, then going to Seth Luttrell, and the way.
How many wins are you picking next year? Hello, Will? Will.
Sounds like we lost him, Jay, but I think.
Will, are you there? Will the Thrill.
I think what he was getting ready to say was, and basically what he was saying was Lincoln Riley left the cupboard bare. But here's the deal. BV's first year, they recruited really well. So he actually retained a lot of the recruits that had decommitted. So
hey,
it's about the head coach and the situational things that he's been bad out. But I'm going to say 9 wins for me, Jay, because that's what it's going to take for BV to keep his job.
Hey, I'm going to say this.
The next year, the schedule gets a little easier, likely.
Hey, Will, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. I don't know what happened at the end of the connection, but I was going to ask you how many wins you thought. Maybe you can just drop it in the chat. But I would say ceiling 9, floor 7.
Yeah, I think it could be 10-7.
Yeah, you could maybe. I'm just saying, but I'm not picking 9. I'm not picking 9. I can't pick that. I've picked that for years. I can't pick 9 anymore. I can't right now until I see something on the field. And I don't think that's bad. Like,
to me, 5, the floor of 5 is horrible.
Well, they won 6 last year with the worst offense
horrible,
in history.
Dude. Yeah. Horrible. They can't be worse.
No. So that's why I think 7 and 9 are in between is where I'm at. But you know what? We'll find out. Now, you cannot have the injuries they had, period. That would kill you again. Mateer's got to be really good. The offense got to be really good. I mean, we'll see. I'm excited about the year at one point, but I'm also like, they got a brutal schedule. You got to kind of hold your horse a little bit, but we'll see. I think they could be a lot better.
Yeah, look, I do think 10-7, 10 is ceiling, 7 could be floor, could be that. But it's great to talk about. We'll keep doing it. Hey, and again, check out the Fan Stop, thefanstop.com. Check out their apparel. Get on the Shirt of the Month Club. Big kudos to everyone that called in tonight. Big kudos to everyone that's been in the chat. Hey, we cannot leave, and Hunter looks sharp early. Hunter always is sharp in this chat. Hunter does a great job running the comments, vetting through things very quickly. He's one of the best, man. He's the best, really. So big shout out to Hunter. Appreciate it. And thanks to you all. We're going to continue every single night at 9:30. That's what we do. Telling it like it is, Jay. What else you got to close this thing?
No, I mean, I think you kind of said it all. Jen, appreciate all the listeners, all the people who called, all the chat. We will talk to everybody tomorrow night, but I'll say this, stay tuned tomorrow night. Believe we have it locked down for a special guest to join us. So make sure you join us tomorrow night. It'll be great talk for the college football preview, national championship game. Also, some good thoughts on Oklahoma and the state of Oklahoma football. Do not miss it. Tomorrow night, 9:30. See you then.